Welcome to my daily review. Today is Monday, July 14th, and you're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which traded at another all-time high today, which is always bullish, right? Whenever that index is making highs. Today, the high was 672. Friday's high was 647. Thursday's high was 655. What was it? Wednesday, 645. So you get the picture. It's just grinding higher along with this, the 5 EMA. I guess I should switch that to the 10 on the index. I was looking at some leading stocks today, so I switched it to the 5. But for the index, I'll pull back to the 10, and it is surfing the 10, just above the 10. Right here, you can see the 10, going up every day. Today it was 20,451. It's 0.9% above the 10, 6.5% above the 50, which is this red line. The red line went through the black line, which is a 200, which is your golden cross, the much discussed golden cross. And it has been bullish since that event of the golden cross. But anyway, the Nasdaq was up 54 points today, or 0.27%. A little lighter volume. We don't really care about that. But the index is providing some tailwinds for a lot of different areas. There's a lot of stuff working right now, but there's also a lot of stuff not working. So you have to be in the right stock. It's still a selective market, right? It's not like all rising tide lifts all boats. It's a stock picker's market. And so you have to be in the right stocks. I'll get to that in a minute. I wanted to show you some of the other indexes though, and one of them is the S&P 500 index, which was up 0.14%, so not quite as strong as the Nasdaq, 0.6% above the 10, 4.9% above the 50. And then the IWM, which is really strong today, it was up 2/3%. You can see this nice consolidation pattern, nice cup-shaped pattern. That is a long consolidation here for the IWM. So this is a risk on index, and I would love to see it take out that old high of 254.98, but it's got a lot of work to do. Good day today, and well, since I'm looking at the indexes, I guess I'll take a look at the Dow, up 88 points or 0.2%. Pulled back to the 10 today. It's only 30 stocks. We have earnings coming up. A lot of Dow Jones components are going to be reporting, and yeah, I'll get to that in a minute too. Anyway, yeah. You got Travelers, and you have JP Morgan. We've got a lot of them, but anyway, I just wanted to go to a couple of the Mag 7 stocks, or Lag 7, whatever you want to call them. Google, this is the one that I probably like the most in the Mag 7 right now. Up 0.75% today. Not bad move. You can see this cup with handle pattern trading tight near the moving average. Yeah, I kind of like the Google pattern here. Amazon's been pretty strong. Today they reported 30% year-over-year sales growth from their Prime. I guess it was a 4-day Prime weekend, I guess you'd call it, 4-day weekend. Anyway, 30% sales growth, year-over-year for a Prime Day. That's pretty impressive for Amazon. Meta has been one of the stronger stocks, just kind of taking a break here, riding along the 10. NVIDIA, of course, one everybody talks about because it's got the 4 trillion market cap, and just took a break today, going sideways, doing absolutely nothing. AMD kind of doing the same thing. We have earnings reports once again, that are going to impact these markets. ASML and Taiwan Semiconductor is going to report Thursday, the 17th here, and the ASML reports Wednesday morning, I believe. Yeah, the 16th. So those are going to impact the semiconductor space, and even a big kahuna like NVIDIA. This is a big market cap as well. 317, got a kind of a monopoly on the equipment space, but they're going to report. We'll have to just wait and see what they have to say. All right, I want to get to some of the themes today that are working, and they have been working. And every Saturday I do a weekend report, and I kind of audit the leading stocks, and I audit my portfolio, and I audit the industry groups. And this is a top industry group here, GE Vernova. You can see it's ranked 2, but performance it's 1, and the top 3 groups are way ahead of, like 10% higher than the fourth group. So the 1, 2, 3 are alternative energy. which GEV is a leader. Also, LEU is a big player in this group. Bounced off its 21 recently. And now, did it make a new high today? It did, 217. That looks good. I'd say 211.31 would be a buy point there. So that, I had it last week. I didn't want to put it on again this week, but man, that thing looks awfully strong. OKLO, another one that pulled back to its 21, found support and bounced today. You could say it broke, above this downtrend line here. Last week? Yeah. Oklo looks pretty good. And SMR is another one of these, oh gosh, these nuclear plays. And the Department of Energy was talking about how they need nuclear and they're going to be building this and that, blah, blah, blah. They talk a lot. It's going to be years and years and years, but we just care about the action in this stock. SMR up, more than 12% today. So that group was very strong. The alternative energy group. Another group, every Saturday, I got to point to this steel group. I don't talk about them much. And this is CRS Carpenter Technology, just surfing this 10. And since I'm getting into leading stocks, I'm going to switch back to the 5 EMA here because a lot of stocks are still finding support. Strong stocks find support at the 5. That one today, Carpenter, I mean, it's pretty much flat on the session. But it's 0.3% above the 5. ATI, another one of these, steel specialty alloy, up 1.5% today, making a new high at 91.74. So just strength in alternative energy, strength in steel specialty alloys, and also the gold stocks. I put this one on the ready list, and I had people saying, "Man, this thing's up so much this year, right?" AU, it's up. Let me get this for you here. Somebody's saying it's up too much. Yeah, it's up 107%. Can it go up anymore? Well, stocks will go up 100%, sometimes go up 200%. It's the old William O'Neill, buy high, sell higher, right? And AU, it just made a high of 51.11 on June 13th and pulled back to the 50 and found support. And now it's trending higher. It came back to that old pivot point of 46.90. So I think that's just an area of interest for Anglo Gold Ashanti. Also, AEM. This is Agnico Eagle. Um, just this one looks pretty good too, consolidating in a base. And then Wheaton, another Canadian gold mining stock. Yeah, these look pretty good, and they can go higher. I'm not a big commodity guy because they're inflationary, but the commodity prices seem to be like melting up. So I'm not gonna argue with it. We're going to play the hand that we're dealt, and those ones look good. And they're slower movers, so you can't have all sorts of fast movers in your portfolio. At least I can. It gives me a damn heart attack. So some slower ones are kind of nice. So that's the gold play. Do I own any gold? No, I don't. Anyway, the story of the day, I guess, would be Bitcoin, and it was up over 121,000. I think the last time I checked, it was below 120, but still, a lot of these names are showing strength today. IRE, and this is a data center play up, nearly 7%. MicroStrategy. When you think of, Bitcoin, I think of MicroStrategy because Popeye the Sailor Man has just sold all his stock. He says sell your kidneys and buy Bitcoin, but I wouldn't be that extreme. But Bitcoin's at all-time high, and this thing's well off its high, which kind of bugs me a little bit. Even with the move today, nearly 4%, it's still 17% off its high while Bitcoin is trading at an all-time high. So, this one I had on the ready list last week. I felt it was a little extended to put it on this week, but certainly broke out nicely today. If you own that one, Mara is this one that I had on the ready list last week. I took it off. Once again, a little extended. And this one, I think a little, all the Cowboys came in riding. They get all bowled up over the weekend, right? They come in and they just buy, buy, buy. And what happens? The pros sell, sell, sell. So the retail gets stuck there. Yeah, 21.50, 20 minutes in today, close at 19.21. Ouch. Yeah, that's a big ouch. And I think the closing price on that bar was 9% of the daily range. So watch for it tomorrow. Not the end of the world, but you want to see a little better closing there. On Mara, Coinbase, another one that when you think of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, this is one of the leaders. up another 2% today. Let's see how it handles that 400 level. Been a super strong stock. And if you don't want to own Bitcoin, or any of these stocks, you could just buy the exchange traded fund, and it trades with the price of Bitcoin. And this one is making highs while Bitcoin is making all-time high. So that's what you want to see. All right, I'm going to move on from alternative energy, steel stocks, gold, Bitcoin to software. Palantir, the big leader. There's been some rotation recently. You see it made a high there, 148.22 on June 26th. And yeah, there's some rotation into some other stocks. And that's just how the bull market thrives and survives and sustains itself. And then today they came back and bought Palantir with a vengeance. They're up 5%. You can see it just all day today. Just all day. Just buy all day. Close near the highs of the session. And that's what you want to see, especially if you're trading weekly options. It's like, okay, this thing's just going to go higher. We'll take the ride, right? And it closed at 94% of the daily range. So I've had this one on the ready list a lot lately, and because I think people should own it. 148.22 would be another area of interest here. I think that's like, 4 weeks of consolidation. Now it's time to go. And it's trading, right there after hours. So Palantir looks really good. Roblox, another one of these software names, just killing it, man. Up 6% today. This is how you want to see a stock go through 100, right? It bumped up against it this one day on June 16th, kind of flirted with it. And then a couple days later, on the 18th, it's at 103. And then it just keeps grinding higher and higher, 105, 106, and then pulls back to 100 and finds support there on July 1st, July 2nd. Once again, exactly at 100. There's the low on July 2nd. So it found support there, right? Ran above it, pulled back, found support there. And now what has it done? Just keeps grinding higher, 104, 108. And then today, went from 108 to 111. So it's kind of like riding the five and leaving that 100 level in the dust. And that's what you want to see with your stock, not kind of squat there at 100 and have trouble with all that resistance, because it's telling you that institutions don't want to pay more than $100 for a stock. But with Roblox, looks like they want to pay 111 or even 112 after hours. So we'll see with Roblox, but it's definitely been a super strong stock. And I'm going to talk about that 100 level here in a minute. MGNI, this is one that was on our relative strength list. Made this high, and now it's pulling back. Where she stops, nobody knows, but you see the 5 is curling lower, which I do not like. Might pull back to this 21 here, which was 2163 today, but going up every day. But just, another strong software name. What else do we have? Oh, NBIS was upgraded at Goldman Sachs today. Responded nicely. It's got this like it's this bull wedge type pattern. Didn't pull back to the quite to the 50. I don't know, maybe that's the 34 or something. But anyway, up 17% today. NBIS super strong. And then Shopify, this is one that I've had on the ready list recently, but I'll be honest with you, I got impatient with it. It's got this cup with handle, but this handle is becoming an elongated handle, and it looks like, like a 5 weeks tight pattern here. It's just going sideways, right? You got the cup with the handle, and it just cannot break out. 10% off of its 52-week high. Up 4% today, which is a nice move, but still, what was the high today? 118.46. I guess, if it can trade above that level and start, moving higher, it'd be more interesting to me. But as long as it's in this trade range, I mean, it's pretty hard to buy something like that when you see a lot of other stocks just ripping higher. But Shopify, it does look like it's it's definitely trading near a buy point, consolidating within a base, trading tight within tight with next to its moving averages. So there's a lot of components here that I like about Shopify. So maybe that one will be on our ready list here pretty soon. All right. Enough with the software names. I got to go to the crypto, the cybersecurity names, because CrowdStrike was downgraded today by Morgan Stanley, And then they downgraded it with a price target of like 495, which is higher than, Friday's close, right? It's kind of CYA downgrade. It just pulled back to its 50 for the first time since the breakout from this base. And when you have a strong stock like CrowdStrike in a strong uptrending market, the first pullback to the 50 is usually a gift. Today the low was 463. It found support at that 50 and closed, $13 up. So that's a pretty decent bouncer. Let's take a look at the yeah, just gap down at the open and buyers came in immediately and kind of drifted sideways into the close, but only down $2. So I want to see this thing bounce tomorrow, and I think that's a real that's an active buy point right there. That off the 50, even though it's already bounced a little bit, I would say 475. 480 is still a buy point for that one. These cybersecurity names sold off last week. If we take a look at the weekly here, this is Zscaler. They all sold off. Zscaler was down, yeah, 8% last week. I mean, that's a heck of a sell-off down below that 300 level. And today closed at 291. So Rubrik, another one, it sold off as well. Maybe not as sharply. This one is just forming a base. I get a lot of questions about Rubrik, probably because I talk about it too much. But it made this run from 47 to 103, and now it's just forming a base, okay? And that's what you want the stock to do. I know it's below its 50. It's okay. Let it trade down there for a while. I believe it's going to build the right side of a base and make like a cup-shaped pattern. Earnings aren't until September 15th, so it's got 2 months before we have a data point from them. But it looks fine to me. I mean, I don't think it's going to do anything great in the next few weeks. So, yeah, it's kind of, if you're holding it, it's kind of a hold. I don't think you can buy it and expect it to do much, but it's not doing anything wrong. And the last one in the cybersecurity space is Cloudflare, which had this, buy point, cup with handle, and then broke out up near 200, now pulled back, and it's pulled back near that old buy point last week of 177.37. The low is 180.11. So yeah, that looks even actionable. So that is another one that could appear on our ready list. It's just a tick below the 21. So a lot of decent looking, strong stocks that are still setting up here. Rocket Lab, then you go to the space and drones, anything that flies or is hot right now. This is Rocket Lab. It was up 11%. After the Secretary of Defense talked about using drones, and they talk a lot anyway. Politicians talk. That's what they do. This is ASTS Space Mobile pulled back to its 21 and popped last week, and then followed through today 5%, which is nice. Yeah, on Friday it was up 3.6%. Today another 5%. So that looks good for ASTS RCAT. This is one of those drone plays. This one popped on Friday, 26%, followed through today, 21%. So nice move for RCAT. Meow. And yeah, it's a drone software, drone name or whatever. Anyway, the last one is JOBY. JOBY and Archer, this is the aerospace defense sector, but it's these flying taxis, essentially, people movers, and it was up 5% today. I guess they had a contract with Dubai to supply some of these air taxis. Anyway, so that group is looking strong as well. WLDN, and remember, I'm just showing you strong stocks and strong groups. I'm not going to all the pain and suffering that we're seeing in other groups. So they're out there. It's just I try to keep them out of sight, out of mind. This is the building heavy construction group. You can see it's a top group, 8 out of 197. This is WLDN. This one's been on a heater, man. This is your heat on steroids here, just surfing the 5 today, popped another 4%. TPC is another one that I've been talking about for weeks. Tudor, Perini. I don't know Tudor or Perini. But man, look at this thing surfing the 5. That's a thing of beauty. And the problem with me is if I bought it here, it would immediately pull back to its 21 and I'd be shaken out. So that's why I don't chase performance. But I recognize it, acknowledge it. It's definitely looking strong. EME, Another one of these building, it's a different group, maintenance and services, but still making new highs and showing strength. And the one that I like in this group is Quanta Services. There's another one making a new high today. What was it? 389.21. So yeah, that group is looking good. All right, I'm going to move on because I have a lot of stuff to get to today. EQT, and I know just like the gold stocks, people don't want to hear about oil and gas, but this has got a natural gas component. Let's take a look at the weekly here on this. Yeah, it consolidated when the base broke out, then pulled back, up 5% today. Yeah, this is out of Pittsburgh. It's got this natural gas component. I think that's what is appealing. They're going to report here pretty darn soon, next week. Kinder Morgan is also going to report this week. Yeah, maybe some short covering here today, up nearly 2%. And the one that I kind of like in the exploration group is Matador. It's got this cup with handle pattern trading tight within the base. The 10 has now traded above the uh, 200, so the short-term moving averages are trading through. So I think this thing's going to trend higher, but it's got to prove itself. Once again, this is a weak group, 182 out of 197. So yeah, probably going to require some patience. This is a slower moving stock as well. And so, oh, CRK is another stock that's been really strong here, made that high of 31.17. What date was that? The 23rd, June 23rd, pull back, undercut the 50. Let's see if it can rally back through the 50. Oil and gas, eh. Defense has been super strong. KTOS making new highs. Can't argue with that. GE reports this week, the 17th, which is what, Thursday? That will impact this group. DRS is another one, Leonardo making new highs. And then Raytheon or RTX, this one's making new highs here today. Unbelievable. What, 149.26, the old high? Yeah, 149.57. So yeah, that would be an area of interest. They're going to report next week as well. So just you have to know your earnings dates and don't be jumping into stuff and then getting slammed by, a negative earnings response. All right. I think that's it, right? Oh no, not quite. IBKR, I got to go through some finances. We're going to hear from these a lot of bank stocks this week. Interactive Brokers broke out of this cup with handle pattern. SOFI has been on a heater. This thing, pulled back to its five today, still up, 2/3%. And then BK, not a stock that I talk a lot about. Bank of New York Mellon, man, making new highs there. So, they're going to report, what's this, tomorrow. So we'll hear from them in the morning, I believe. All right, so probably a little bit of short covering into that print. All right, all right, two more groups. I haven't talked about biotech stocks in a long, long time. Bridge Bio, though, is flexing its muscles, man. This thing is just relentless, up 2.63% today, broke out of that double bottom base pattern and looking very strong. And then SONN, they had news this morning and jumped 86%. We'll take that all day long. The thing that's funny about this, it ramped 242% July 2nd, then it just kind of sat here for about 4 or 5 days, and then bam, it popped higher. INSM, this is one to watch, folks. They're going to have a PDUFA on August 12th, I believe, August 13th, somewhere in there. Could be earlier than that, but for cystic fibrosis. So, yeah, if they get a positive or, the FDA approves, this thing's going to pop again. And then my favorite in the drug stocks is TGTX because they do have, sales and earnings growth up nearly 5% today. Still trading within a base though. Undercut the 50 and now rallied back above. That one looks fine. All right, move on. Unbelievable. The retail space has life. This is Five Below. I got that 137.30 buy point, just kind of consolidated, surfed its moving averages here for a few weeks. You can see that flat base pattern. That one looks pretty good. You got the blue dot here showing strength. Five Below looks pretty darn good to me. The other one I wanted to point out was Urban. I believe I had this on the ready list last week, but this is still consolidating. Looks pretty good though. After this big ramp of 23%, it formed this cup with handle pattern. That one looks pretty good. And the last one I want to talk about is Boot, Boot Barn. I think they make all their stuff in the United States, and that has an advantage because a lot of the shoe group, they import from China and Vietnam, and I think that's a disadvantage to them. And that is it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing, and I talked about these stocks that are running up to 100 and having problems, right? Astera Labs, this thing's done this like on, what was it, May 29th? Hit 100. Just count how many times this thing, and it gets rejected. It gets the Matambo. There it is on June 18th. It was Matamboed. June 20th, hit 101. Matamboed back to 84.78. Rallied back up. Couldn't quite hit 199.76 on June 26th. Got pulled back again, then rallied back up. July 9th, 100. It once again got rejected. It was 103.50 last week, and today pulled back. So it's going to come back again to 100. One of these days, it's going to pop through there. I know this is frustrating the hell out of a lot of people. And yeah, one of these days is going to pop through. I would say wait until it can close above, like 102. And this thing could move that fast in a day. It's a very fast mover. So don't give up on it just because it pulled back to its moving average here. It's just shaking some folks out. It's going to make another attempt at 100. But I wouldn't, it's like, the people in Missouri say you got to show me. And until it can close above like 102, it's not showing you anything except for it's just frustrating a lot of people. It's definitely having problems at that 100 level. So is Robinhood, which is surprising me a little bit. It hit 100, was it last week or the week before? What day was this? July 2. And then pull back to its moving average here at the 5. It held the 5, found support there. And then last Friday, it hit 101.50, then pulled back a little bit into the close and closed at 98.34 today. Rallied up to 101.89 and then pulled back a little bit below 100. So this is 3 times that it's tried to break through 100. We want it to do what, Roblox did, which I showed you earlier. But it's definitely finding resistance at 100. And this is the Jesse Livermore, psychological, round number. And these stocks are definitely having some trouble here in finding resistance at 100. This is Credo hit 100 today. And yeah, it hit 100 Friday as well. It's still trading along with its 5. I mean, if you just look at the 5 here, the 5's going higher, the stock's going higher. Eventually, it's going to break through 100. You're just going to have to be patient and give it some time. It's probably going to get rejected. There are a couple of times, like we saw with, ALAB and Robinhood. Tapestry, another stock today, up hit 100, and it went through it and it closed above it here today. So this is one that I'm watching as well. This is the Coach Kate Spade brand handbag stock. APH, this is one that I had on the ready list a while back. You can see it with the cup with handle pattern and it broke out. Now it's at 100. So I want to see how that one acts around 100 level. Lamb Research, they had a stock split, and this one's traded above 100, closed above 100 on Friday at 101.73, and now today pulled back and it's below it. So another stock having trouble. Otis, their business is up and down. This stock is going up and down around 100. You can see it blasted through it before and then fell out. Now it's just consolidating within a base, having trouble at 100. And then this copper stock, Southern Copper, just right there at 100. So it's definitely a thing, folks. And I just wanted to point that out. Also, the 200 level can be a problem here. Align Technology having trouble at 200, and then 300, it's the same deal, right? SAP just back and forth playing teeter-totter with 300, and then UNH, which has had a lot of problems. I would just avoid this one. It's been playing teeter-totter around 300 as well. Anyway, okay, I did mention tomorrow we're going to hear from the banks, JP Morgan. This is a big one. I think they're going to crush it. I think estimates are too low in general for the S&P 500. I think majority of those stocks are going to have solid earnings reports. I'm not saying their stocks are going to rip higher, but I think they're going to beat expectations. And it's all of this is rear view mirror stuff. They have to guide higher. Citigroup, once again, this has been a really strong stock. They're going to report tomorrow morning, as is Wells Fargo, another one that I'm looking forward to hearing from tomorrow. It's just kind of paused. They had their stress test, then they announced, stock buybacks and all sorts of stuff that since they could. And now it's just a little pause ahead of earnings. So we're going to have to hear what they have to say. There's some other stocks that I'm interested reporting earnings. I mentioned the semiconductor names. Johnson & Johnson is going to report Wednesday morning. This is going to impact the drug sector for sure. This is one of the biggies. I mean, it's a 377 billion market cap, a Dow Jones component, and I did mention Travelers reports. These insurance stocks are going to impact the insurance group and Progressive, I believe. Uh, this is what happens when you ad lib PGR. They report, yeah, coming up. So insurance is going to be impacted. So you just have a lot of different groups that are going to be impacted. Netflix is going to be the big one for the QQQs this week. If you have options on the QQQs coming up, next week or the week after, monthlies this week. This is OPEX Friday. You definitely you're cutting it close, but yeah, you're going to be tuned in to this report here after the bell on Thursday. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.